Hey guys, this is a general reading for Cancer for December 2020 and January 2021. So like end of December, January, and then January 2021. Cancer, Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus. If you're significantly, or if you're drawn to this video, if you have a lot of significant Cancer in your chart, if you're just cross-watching for somebody who's a Cancer, so energy can be fluid. Some, none, or all of this may apply. This may have already happened. It could be happening now. It could be happening in the future. It may not happen at all for you. Some, none, or all of this may apply. So just take what fits, leave the rest. I could read this as love. It could be career. I could read this as you. It could be someone else close to you. So just like I said, take what fits, leave the rest. Apply it where it needs to be applied. All of that good stuff. Thank you so much for those of you who ask about donations and participate with that for reciprocity of energy, or if this video has really helped you. The information, my PayPal link is in the description box below. For service information, description box below. Please read all of it, including the disclaimer. I do also have shamanic services, shamanic illumination, soul retrievals for like shadow contracts, destiny retrievals. So basically, if you have anything in your energy body that shouldn't be in there, anything that you should have in your energy body that's not there, any attachments, entities, cords, anything like that, underworld work that needs to be looked at, shadow contracts, soul retrievals through any trauma or anything like that, that soul essences may have been lost. Or if you just forgot what your possible destinies are, just due to you forgetting like who you are and, you know, basically in a healed state, what's possible for you. Also, I do light language, private light language. So, and then crystalline consciousness technique, or CCT. So it's very high frequency. And it works with like sacred geometry and helps bring you more in your light body than electromagnetic field. It helps, it's at a very high energy. So it works high up and then trickles down into the 3D. So it helps quicken or help with transformation, healing, and manifestation. So say if you're trying to like manifest something with yourself, but there's an energy blocking it, it will either just heal the energy or it will bring that energy up to the surface so you can see what it is and heal it. So if you're interested in any of those, email me, because they're not in my description box right now. They will be, but they're not now. Please like, share, comment, subscribe, and hit the bell. That's another way you guys can give back. So if you can't through donation or services, please like the video and comment on the video. It takes 2 seconds, and I love connecting with your guys' energies. I can't respond to them all, but I love reading you guys' energies, or comments and energies, and connecting. But it's definitely a way to give back. It helps circulate the video. It makes it more likely that someone else who needs to see the video will see it. And it's just nice for a reciprocity of energy and even give and take. So please like the video, share the video, comment on the video, subscribe to the video, hit the bell. I'm putting out different types of videos, so that way you're notified of anything I put out. Also, make sure you're subscribed. Some people think they are, and somehow they're not, and they didn't do it. So just saying. All right, Cancer. I kind of know what's going on here, but for the most part, not. This is going to go through mostly channeling. So I'm just going to get started. In the center of your reading, you have the 7 of Wands, choose your battles, and the 9 of Swords, darkest fears. I got, when I first laid these down, and I'm going to see if it comes up as I get going, something about you not seeing something, but really like running away from yourself or running away from the truth. But there's something here about some type of cycles and anxiety, and like maybe parts of you like looking at different facets of yourself and needing to integrate. Hold on, I'm trying to feel this out. Because I do feel you're about to go, you're like right there almost at what could be a new cycle. And breaking through some barrier, mostly of you. I think you are your own barrier. And it's almost between like your lower self and your higher self, the different facets of yourself. I could feel a lot of anxiety from this Nine of Swords, this darkest fears. I also got, besides the running from yourself, which matches this, is like commitment issues. There's a commitment issue, whether you have a hard time committing, someone else does, or, so remember, this could always be flip-flopped, but I think mostly committing to yourself and committing to something that you would have to invest. Like you would have to invest from the heart and from who you truly are. And in order to do that, you would have to be integrated and bring in all the parts of you, you know, forward. But it would take commitment. Like what's crossing you here is, this is technically the Chariot, so it's move. But see how they're like tied together, like two hands, and there's a heart. It's almost like commitment. There's almost like a fear of committing to somebody or committing to yourself. I get it hugely, which honestly, even the committing to somebody else is a fear of committing to yourself. So either way, you're at the very least committing, having a fear of committing to yourself. But some of you, this might also be to somebody else. And there's almost like a decision that you have to make, or something you have to move forward in doing. But you're having a fear in making that decision, a fear in making that commitment. It means that you will have to address things about yourself that you don't want to address. It means you will have to see things about yourself that you don't want to see. It means that you will have to see faces of yourself that you either may not be ready to look at, or you don't know if you can hold up to those, whether it's parts of yourself you don't like. Can you stand up to seeing that? Whether it's you looking at your truest and your highest self and what your potential is, and you being like, oh my God, I don't know if I can get there. Or, oh my God, that's going to be so much work. That's going to be so much commitment. I think this is really what it's hitting on right now, is like, you see the potential of what could be lying ahead for you. And it's so much. Like, it's so much, and it's so much commitment. And it's honestly probably a level of commitment that you've never committed to anything like that before. Whether you're trying to run now or it's what you've always done in the past, there is just a huge fear and having to look at parts of yourself, whether it's the parts, like I said, that you don't like, or whether it's the parts of the big shoes that you're going to have to fill. Like, choose your battles, right? Like this says, you're going to be battling anyways. You might as well battle towards the things that work in your favor, rather than battling for the things that keep you small, or battle in a way that makes you spiral downward. And it's not because you're not good enough. It's not because you're deserving. And it's not because the universe or God hates you. It's because you didn't choose you. Like, you didn't choose to put those shoes on and just make the commitment and face you. What is it about you that is your darkest fear? Because this is a pretty deep, intense energy. Like, even just looking at it, it really makes my body kind of start shaking. Do I want to look into this? You're protecting your heart. I mean, I think it's going to go deeper than that. It's going to be on different levels. This is a general reading, but this is what's crossing this integration. So, I mean, you might have fractured your energy or your psyche at some point. Maybe even soul essences went off. But I think that honestly, this is a sabotage, because you learned by doing this that at one time it protected your heart. And now by you not just running from the things that broke your heart, but now you're also running from the things that are truly and genuinely you and can make you happy. And now you're breaking your own heart. So I don't know if your darkest fear is, your heart being broken, your heart being crushed, not even just like physically, but like whether it doesn't work out, is it your ego? Can you handle that immense energy? Maybe even, who do you turn into when you have this? And that could be anything. Or who did you in the past? And you're scared that you'll turn into that again. Whether you became power hungry. It's possible for somebody who's watching this. Whether you became a doormat. Whether you lost all sense of who you are. Like maybe a relationship was so strong that you literally lost who you were. Maybe something didn't work out for you and you lost all your spunk. Maybe in a situation, doesn't even have to be a relationship, you lost who you were at one time. You could have maybe built up this persona or these many faces, and anything now that comes truly and genuinely coming close to your heart of being truly who you are, or what's really good for you, or breaking through in that light, you have a hard time committing to or running. Really anything that is true and genuine like that, that's going to hit to that true you that's trying to come out, that you kind of stuffed down from whatever happened to you or however you perceived it. You've got this on like lock and key, and it could shatter all these parts of you that you put together. Are you strong enough to bring your heart to the game? Or like I heard this one guy say, I forgot his name, but are you strong enough to bear your light? Are you strong enough to be you? Are you strong enough to be vulnerable? Are you strong enough to stand in your own power and stand who you are, no matter what it looks like, no matter what happens? But just the fact that you're honoring you and being true to you, right or wrong, doesn't matter. This is a lot of energy of being like either egoic or shut down, walled off energy, confusion, fear. And this is being integrated. This is committing, whether to a person or to yourself. This is heart flowing freely. After this would be strength. So having to not only be, wide open and going and moving forward, but then having to learn to moderate that. Maybe that's an issue that you have of why you're here, is you didn't have good boundaries at one time, or didn't know how to protect yourself or even keep yourself in check, right? Like that other part of you that needs to be kept in check. And that's why you had to go here and either super wall yourself off or not become that person again. Like I said, this could be different. Like you might not have liked who you became, whether you became the doormat or you became the person who became a little power hungry. No judgment. Like just sometimes things happen when people get in this energy. They either lose themselves, either way you lose yourself, but they either lost themselves and allowed someone to walk all over them, or they lost themselves and and this intensity got the best of them in a way of they just wanted more, or they feared it going away so much that, you know, whatever your thing was, control tactics, or I don't know, whatever. You get what I'm saying? In the foundation of the reading, pretty much like the point of all this is you have the Ace of Pentacles, which is strengthening bonds, and you have the Seven of Cups, daydreams and decisions reversed. So this is all about like starting this new beginning, which clearly is coming up. I mean, you have here on the bottom of the deck, here's your Ace of Wands. What is this? The sun, shine. You have shine. Underneath that, you have death, release, like you coming out, taking that outside part off. Hierophant, teaching, clarity of belief, third eye chakra, you seeing, embracing the world, end of a cycle and moving forward and succeeding. Six of Cups, love, being fully open and taking lead. You have all these things that lead you to such positive new beginnings and cycles, but you're like holding back from it. And this is you standing right in front of it, but like pausing this new beginning and needing to come out of like Seven of Cups, which would be daydreams and decisions. Like you need to come out of the daydreams and make a decision to walk towards it. In the past, you had temperance, balance. I believe there was some type of either union, again, between two people that really brought you some level of heart opening or clarity or whatever. I don't know, maybe you're running from that now. Or some type of awakening, enlightenment, whatever perception shift that, again, maybe now you're starting to try, like, to run through. Like, it was really great. It was cool. It was like, this feels good. And then, you know, you go into it, you see all this amazing stuff, and you're like, wow, really? Like, I can do that? And, like, that feels really good at first, right? And then all of a sudden, it comes time for you to step up. It's time for you to, like, walk your talk. And commit to it. Like, make the decision to commit. Sorry, it's bothering me. And I think that might be, we'll see as we get going, but I think that might be where your issue is coming up, is really like a fear of commitment. Most importantly to yourself, to be honest with you. It could very well be to someone else, but if it is, it's also to yourself. In the crowning of the reading, you have throat chakra. So you could be wanting to speak your truth. You could be really wanting to express. See, the throat chakra for me, yes, it's expressing your truth, especially from your heart. But what I find mostly it is too, besides that, but even more, is your throat chakra is a way to really express and create who you are in this world. That's really how you go about doing it. Whether it's through art, whether it's through what you manifest, what you do, like what you just bring into this world, your imprint in this world, basically. You being in this body it's not really creating who you are. I guess you can do it a little bit in the way you dress and stuff, but that's a very minute form. Even in your house and stuff like that. Your house is a way by what you put out on the walls and how you decorate. That is you. But it's mostly like one of the greatest ways that we find who we are every day and for the rest of our lives as we evolve is by what we create, what we put out. Not only what we speak into this world, but what we create into this world. That speaks the most as to who we really are. What we create, what we do. And that's, I'm not going to say it always comes from your heart, because people's actions don't always come from their heart, but in this way, I think you're really wanting to create and birth you into this world. And your throat chakra helps you do that in the way of expressing what comes through your heart. The problem is when our throat chakra isn't getting the message from our heart, which seems very fitting to that. This is what's crossing you. You've got yours caged up. You're blocking it off, which is why you have this fear of commitment, meaning you cannot really hear your heart right now. So I don't know what you're speaking or what you're creating. This did come up. This particular deck wanted to be used, and you have gossip. So I don't know if you're around gossip. I don't know if you are gossiping. Like she's even creating, like she even has like a paintbrush and something else in her hand. So I don't know what you're creating. I'm not sure if you're the one gossiping. And it doesn't even have to be about other people. It could even be like where you're like, just distracting yourself from your own purpose. You have completion. Completion of what? I don't know if someone passed. You're talking about that. I don't get that very strongly, but it might be for some of you. I'm getting more like, what I'm actually getting more from this is, did I say this earlier? Yeah, I said walking your talk. So I feel like you're talking about it. Like you're talking about what you're going to do, or you're talking about what's happened to you, or what you've done, or what you're planning, or what you're doing, or you're just like talking. I mean, you might be a little bored too and mixed in talking like about other people too. That doesn't really matter. I mean, be careful if you are bringing that energy in. It happens sometimes though, but I get more that you're just talking about what you want to do, and you're talking about what you figured out, and you're like, one thing I've noticed, I've been sitting here watching, you know, and everybody's guilty of this, or there isn't a judgment to this, but I've been watching like all the people on Facebook, right, that they just post and post and post and post, and they post all these even like beautiful sayings, all these beautiful things, and all these like, oh, that's so true, oh, that's so true. And don't get me wrong, I'm tempted into it sometimes, and I've been guilty of it before. I've really been pulling myself back because I noticed it, where I'm just like, I noticed the people who were sitting back talking about it but never really doing anything, and then versus the people who were actually doing it. And the people who were actually doing stuff were either not really posting anything ever, like say they're just on Facebook or something like that. They weren't ever really on Facebook, or they never really posted, or it would be like once in a great while, but they usually really wouldn't post. Or if they did post, it was all about whatever they were creating or their business or whatever they were doing. That was it. They weren't over there like, it's almost like those other things that are like those inspiring posts or those memes or whatever. Like, they're beautiful. They can inspire you, but they can also be a trap. They could be this false sense that you're doing something, or that you're enlightened, or you're a certain way, or whatever, you know? And again, I'm not speaking judgmentally about this. This is something I had to realize about myself too. But I just happened to notice it, where I was like, what is the difference of what people are doing, that they're actually doing stuff, versus the people who aren't? And that was very consistent, is the ones that were posting all the times, or they were always on there, or they're the first one to heart or do something. They don't have anything else going on. They're always talking about it. They're talking a good game, and that doesn't mean they're not in a place of peace. That doesn't mean they're not doing some work. I'm not saying anything like that. I'm just saying there's a whole lot of talk about being a certain way, and manifesting, and a new way of being, and things coming in, and what's wanting to create and build. They're talking a whole lot about it, but they're not actually doing it. Now, a lot of this is probably coming down to not persevering of perseverance. This is all, which is funny enough, is in your future energy. Because you had a lot of sacral or chakra issues here going on. Coming up. Like, you might need a lot of chakra cleaning. If you'd help with this, let me know. If not, do it yourself. There's plenty of resources to help you do that. But you have at least 1, 2, 3, 4. At least 4 chakras, right? 1, 2, 3 that are coming up. Which one's not? Your root, which you do kind of have down here in your foundation, although it's not actually the root, but, or like it's strengthening bonds, but it's red. It's like root. But it's what it's guiding you to do. So it'd be root, solar plexus, third eye, and crown, earth. No. So root, sacral, solar plexus, heart, throat, crown. 1, 2, 3, 4. Sorry, I'm getting stuck. Root is not here, but it is here, but it's not here. I'm just like the actual chakra, not here. You have sacral. Do not have solar plexus. We do have the heart. We do have the throat and the third eye. Okay. So, and the root is kind of here. So root, solar plexus, and third eye. And the third eye did come up over here as the seeing things. It came up through the cards. So some of you might also have a type of, you know, awakening or kundalini or a clearing of your energies. But some of them are blocking the other energies from flowing through your other chakras. Because as you clear these up that are on this spread, which is your throat, sacral, crown, and heart, it will help the ones flow more that are the root, solar plexus. So basically you're having issues in your self-worth and your security, making that inner will and that decision and being able to truly see what is your vision and what you're able to do and being connected in that and who you really are. So it's almost kind of in a way like they're all kind of messed up a little bit, if I'm being honest. But it's trying to help you with these personal chakras and give me an idea of what's going on here, what you're doing with these, to help you get going and clearing with the other ones. Because you don't feel secure enough, you don't feel safe, you don't feel like you're truly connected to you and seeing, and you're not making the decision and the inner will and the commitment to do this. So they're actually all having an issue here. Either way, these are both sacral issues. And this is in your likely future. Like something about you, you're having a problem persevering, forward due to feeling a lack of self-worth. Like you're not good enough, you're not worthy enough, you're just going to be hurt, you're going to be crushed. So there's that. So that explains the throat chakra. So you might just be like, honestly, just talking a whole lot and not taking a lot of action. In your likely future, you have sacral chakra, you have crown chakra, and then you have, I believe this is the star, heel, but it's reversed. Let me double check on that. $10, 15, 16, 17. Yeah, so it's the star. Basically, you not feeling like you're worthy or good enough. And you're so stuck in that lower emotion that you can't even clear and receive the message you're supposed to receive. You're gonna stay stuck. Like, you're not going to receive the messages you need, the healing that you need. To be able to, like, creatively build and express what you're needing to and what you're trying to do. And that's one of the reasons too why you might not feel good enough or you might not be doing it, is because you still feel kind of confused, because, you know, your sacral chakra is kind of blocked up, and it's like, whether you're imbalanced in the sexual energies, but either way, this creative energy, it's very blocked up on knowing how to create. Like, I don't know if at one time you put energies into creating or being you and it didn't work out, but you weren't really being you at that moment. You were being like more of a wounded you, probably, who didn't see more properly, but it gave you a misperception on, like, you don't know how to go about doing that now. Not only do you not have the confidence and the self-esteem enough to do it, and just to go through the blocks and realize that it was an illusion, you're not who you used to be. And even if you still are, you don't have to be. That's just you choosing to be that, to choosing to allow that. It's almost like a lower and higher self, like, war here, but you have a likelihood of not breaking out of this cycle if you don't learn to drop more in your heart center, in your heart space, and to chance facing you, to chance being wrong, to chance facing that part of you that I wasn't good enough, right? Like, you've got to come to that face of you and say, like, literally get to a point where you're like, I don't care if I meet that part and I end up, okay, I wasn't good enough, or I couldn't make it happen. Which is not that you're not good enough. It's just either not aligned with you, or you have to revise your plan or try harder or whatever. That's a misperception. That's a wound that needs to be healed. But even if you meet that, even that, let's say it comes to that, wouldn't you rather go forward knowing that you tried than always having that wonder that you didn't, or what would have happened if you did, or could you have, instead of just saying, like, yeah, I'm going to, yeah, I'm okay, yeah, I am, here's what I'm gonna do, blah blah, but you don't, because it makes you, if you step up to that and you commit, you're gonna have to face that part of you that you fear the most, that says, I'm not good enough. All those negative voices. It's almost like all these negative taunting voices in his head, his or her head. Because that's what it takes to step into your heart like this. Is to move forward in spite of the fear. In spite of the illusion. To say, I don't care what happens. I'm going to try and I'm going to listen to my heart. Because knowing all the while too, even if it doesn't work out exactly the way you planned, it still shows you something. You still learn and grow from it. You still are being loyal and true to yourself and building self-love at that point. You're being backed by yourself. You're being backed by your guides. You're being backed by the universe, just for that mere thing of having the courage to step up. That's another thing. Like, you're already ahead of the game, whether it works out or not, because there are millions upon millions upon millions of people who don't even step up. There are people who don't even awaken, so you're already kind of ahead of the game on that. But most people that do awaken, quote, quote, awaken, this is where they get, is talking a good game. They're awakened. They see what others don't. This is where the spiritual ego starts to come in. This is a lot of times where the spiritual ego starts to build, if I'm being honest. And I say this respectfully again, because I've had to look at it within myself, you know? So I'm just sharing what I've learned. But spiritual ego starts to hit when you've awakened enough, like awakened to seeing what others don't. So you've kind of popped out of the matrix. But then when it comes time to pop into your heart space, which is honestly one of the hardest things to do within the journey, it's the time to go to the next phase in the journey, which really even then more humbles you even more. So I'm explaining to you right now what all these cards mean. I now get what this means and why you don't heal. This next phase, doing this and following your heart is what takes you to the next phase that truly heals you. It's what truly humbles you. It's what truly connects you into where you see you're connected to it all. You see it all. You feel it all. You realize the interconnectedness in it all. Because as you do it and you're sitting from your heart space, you see that truth of not victimhood, not blame, that you can see you in other people and you can see them in you. Like, these are those moments and these times in life when that happens, because you get to see your raw, authentic, and genuine self. And there's no masks at this point. But it's also, I know it's scary, but when you go into it, it's also one of the most beautiful things, because you get this whole other level of understanding. You know, your heart can clear out. Yes, that makes it more vulnerable, but you're able to come from more heart-centered. You're not as anxious. You're not as scared. You know, yes, at that point, you're going to have to then, you know, come back down a little bit, work on boundaries, right? You're always going to be doing that. Even if you stay where you are now, you're going to have to work on boundaries, not only against other people, but against yourself. Starting this journey is one of the biggest boundaries you're going to have to set of all. That's why it says choose your battles, right? You're going to be doing it anyways. Just choose something that works in your favor, not that spirals you downward or causes you dis-ease, which leads to disease, or keeps a ceiling on you. Like, most people get where you are right now, whoever this is that I'm talking to. The hardest part that people have is dropping into their heart space and having faith again, that heart of a child again, and letting go of those wounds that happened in between you being the innocent child that the world was your oyster and where you are now, that blocked it up when you realize the world isn't as rainbows and sunshine as you thought it always was. Right? The idea to get to the sun energy, which is, here's your new beginning with the sun energy. Like I always say, the sun to me is where you have the heart of a child again, right? You start out with the heart of a child, but you're ignorant. You learn some lessons. Now you're wiser, but your heart gets blocked off. Then you go through another rite of passage and you realize things, your heart blows open again. You have to go through this whole other little journey, heal all that, blah, 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 heal your misperceptions. And then you get the excitement and the heart, the energy flowing again, where you have the heart of the child again, but you have the mind and the wisdom of the elder. That to me is what the sun card is. You're able to go back to that childlike play, that childlike innocence, that childlike wonder, that childlike investment, where you go to play and you go to do things. You don't think beforehand what's going to happen. You don't prepare for how you're going to be hurt. I mean, yes, you want to like protect yourself, but like, don't go back to being naive. But you get what I'm saying. Like, they're not like, I don't know, guys, we might not want to build this fort, you know, a hurricane might come through and knock it all down, and then we did all this work for nothing, and our hearts are going to be broken, and then what are we going to do then? Like, you don't see children doing that unless they're really around some, like, overly protective parents. But you still really don't, like, see that. They're just like, let's build a fort, you know, let's run around with things and pretend it's a horse. Meanwhile, they're not worried about that they can hurt themselves by it. You get what I'm saying? But either way, that's what this is saying. Is you're going to get stuck in all the energies that I just said if you do not drop into your heart space, and you will not heal. Which honestly probably is going to hurt even more than if you had just dropped in your heart space. Because you're always going to wonder, then the energy is going to get blocked. You're going to turn bitter. You're going to be resentful, and who knows what else. But how you see yourself, you have 4 of Swords reversed. Just breathe. So it could be that you don't feel like you're resting. Maybe even part of you thinks you're actually doing something. I more get of the picture of this, like how she's literally connected to like her higher self or spiritual self. I don't think you feel very connected. That doesn't feel fully true. No, I think it fully does. I think on one hand, you're like, no, I'm connected. I'm getting, like, you feel all the energy going through from when you were in this temperance in the past that led you to the part you are now. You felt yourself coming together. You felt the bigness of the energy. You felt the intensity of it all. But right now, I don't think you feel fully connected to it. Like, see how this is in your past? It's kind of somewhat similar to this, in some ways. Only this is reversed now. This is how you're seeing yourself. You've pulled away in some way or another. Even if you're somewhat lying to yourself and telling yourself like, no, I'm doing it. No, I'm going to blah, blah, blah. No, you've pulled away. And if you're being honest with yourself, you can feel that energy has pulled away. And how you will know that too is because for one, you're doing a lot of talking and not a lot of action. But for two, you're sitting here in all these fears. Like when you were here, this felt really good. You felt very in flow. And now this is where you're sitting. Seven of Wands is very standoffish, defensive, keeping themselves away, or if anything's coming closer, maybe from all these opinions of others or whatever, I don't know. And then you have Nine of Swords, darkest fears, very anxious, fearful, in your head. Not in your heart. So, yeah, that's enough on that. In your environment, you have 4 of Cups. Opportunity beckons. Yeah. You know what you're coming up to. But something about you is pulling away. How the environment sees you, 9 of Wands reversed. Rest and reconsider. Again, I guess this could be taken as you're taking action and not stopping and resting. I more take it as like how she's sitting and she's being with herself right now. I don't think you are. I think you're distracting yourself again. I think you're sabotaging yourself again. I think your ego is already presenting a whole nother face in a way of tricking you into we're doing something, we're still doing good, we're still on this, blah, blah, blah. Meanwhile, it's still presenting this whole other face or image that's protecting you from actually truly dropping in your heart space. I say that with love because, and you're going to have to talk to your ego about this, but your ego is trying to protect you, but it's sabotaging you. And it was something that helped at another time. And you're going to have to fully go and talk, talk to your ego. If you need help with this, let me know. But it's not helping you. It's in the process, I feel, of building this whole other face to where you may not even know what's going on, where it's already starting to build, where you're like, yep, I'm doing this, I'm doing this, I'm doing this. And in your mind, part of you actually really even thinks you are. Because you're like, I'm doing this, I'm doing this, I'm doing this. Yep. And you're like getting certain little things prepared, like blah, blah, blah. But like, not really. And like, you're even not because like you're starting to get all these fears and anxieties. And I'm not saying that's not going to come up for a minute. But when you like go to that and you're like, no, and you drop back to your heart space and keep going, it pushes you through it in more of like a clearer way. You're getting more anxious and whatever because your ego is like, oh no, we can't do this. But at the same time, and even more so, I hope you're following me, you're really knowing in your heart of hearts that you are not in alignment with what's going on right now. You are literally pulling yourself out of this alignment where you were not long ago, where all of this started happening from. I don't know if you see it yet or not, but I'm just letting you know, if you've been feeling these feelings and you're like, oh, it's just the fear of doing this. Like, yeah, a little, but most of it, what most of this is that's building up is you getting further and further away from this. You're literally pulling yourself away. What your hopes are is heart chakra and Emperor taking the lead. You're hoping that you could stay in your heart center and take the lead and build on this. You're hoping that you can. It is in your wants. It is in your desires. It is what you're trying to manifest. But you're in the middle of sabotaging yourself, whether you know it or not. You're not far off. I will say that. Like, this isn't that like, oh, you're screwed, blah, blah, blah. No. No, no, no. This is just that thing that's really good if you happen to see this video, if you're in the middle of doing this, because it could be like a few little, what's the word? Like tweaks, like minor tweaks that could put you right back where you need to go on it, or guide you through this process, right? This is one of my things that I really help with, is during helping people through these processes. I don't try to come in a certain way and just on people. It's to help you see what you're not seeing, right? Because our egos can play a lot of tricks on us and make us where we think we're seeing, but we're really not. And sometimes it helps. And don't take even my stuff as the end all be all. No, it's just when you go back and contemplate your stuff every night, when, I don't know, is that healthy to do when you lay your head down? Either way, whenever you do it in meditation, or I don't really know, that you consider this within your stuff, like it just gives you something else to think about, a different perspective. But whoever this is, and most of you are going to know I'm talking to you, that this is meant for. Some of you won't even be Cancers, in all honesty. You're in the process of yanking yourself out of what you're manifesting in. And I'm here to help pull you back on that. That's one of the things I do, is help people move along in this process and not let their ego distract them, not let things distract them, not let them pull off, not let them sabotage themselves, help keep their perspective and focus on. So I hope this really helps you, and I hope whoever is watching this, whether you're a Cancer or not, really heeds this advice and really thinks about this. So anyways, in your fears, you have healing begins. Six of Swords. But it's reversed. So again, you're scared of not healing. Now, I will say, in your likely future, you have healing reversed. Star reversed. Right? You're literally... how exactly do you say that? Self-fulfilling prophecy? Like, you're literally sitting here with choose your battles and darkest fears, the anxiety. Your anxieties and fears. In your likely future, you have not healing due to all the reasons I said. You can go back on the video. And in your fears, it's not healing. You're already feeling that you're going to sabotage yourself and not heal and not pull this through. And it's in your fears. And this is in your likely future. Your fears are in your likely future. And it's not because that this is what's going to happen. Like, with you giving it your all. It's not that the universe is not on your side. It's not that you're not good enough. It's that you are not committing and you are not choosing it. You are backing out to make it to where that can never happen to you. You're not even allowing to give the opportunity for success to happen. That's like the epitome of self-fulfilling prophecy. It's like this feeling of like not wanting to be hurt or not wanting to hurt your ego, or not wanting to lose control, because you already feel that you're not worthy or not good enough and that you're not going to succeed. So you would rather the success be on your part or because you didn't try than you did try and it didn't happen. And I get where that mind screw can make you feel better. Like, oh, well, I was going to, I know, but just things didn't work out and I ended up going this way instead, but it would have been great, right? Would have been great if I had done that, but, life took a different thing and blah, blah, blah. It sucks, it happened. I'm going to get to it though one day, blah, blah, blah. It's that, no, you didn't do it. You got scared. And I say that respectfully, but you got scared. You didn't give it the chance to succeed. And who cares? Do you know how many people who are successful and they have failed numerous times before they succeeded? Whether they had to revamp what they were doing, revise it, or the universe pushed them in a different direction and was like, good job, but you need to go this way instead. Like, I say this respectfully because I get it. Like, I'm just get kind of pumped up when I talk. But it's an illusion. I have compassion because, like, we're human. Everybody gets stuck there. But I can't be like, oh, I know, I understand. Oh, you'll be okay. Just, yeah, you're doing a good job. Everybody gets there. Don't worry about it. I mean, I guess I could, and maybe you'll get there, and it might take you a while longer. But no, I don't feel guided to do that right now. I feel guided to wake your ass up. You know what I mean? Like, that's just what it is. And plus, I'm just kind of like that right now. So it is what it is. But no. This didn't happen because you full on sabotaged it. And it very well could have succeeded. You are good enough. And like I said, even if it didn't work out, who cares? Do you know the type of energies and flow that run through your body when you at least tried? The loyalty that you pay to yourself, the loyalty you pay to that inner child, the loyalty to your worth that says, even if this didn't work out, I am good enough and worthy enough to try for me. No matter what the outcome is. That doesn't determine the worth of whether it was worth it to try. You're worth it to try. Not the outcome. Your heart and your desires and your dreams are worth it, and creating you as a thing, expression into this world is worth it. Whether people like it or not, whether people grab onto it or not, whether it's successful or not, that fact of honoring you and being loyal to you and putting you into this world, no matter what happens, the energy that leaves in you is priceless and will snowball into other magical things that will happen into your life. It's just a perspective, you have to look at. Now, on the other hand, the type of stuff that materializes and snowballs in your energy when you don't try, nothing magical comes from that. That causes anxiety, that causes more fears, that causes disease. You just made your ego stronger. You just dishonored yourself. You just dishonored your heart. You just took all your chakras and just no healing, no cleansing. Even at the end of the day, you're just able to sit there with your energy just flowing, you're beaming, you're connected, you are who you are, you found you again, and your energy is flowing and you feel good. And you love yourself because you honored yourself. Even if you get to just sit there and say, I tried and I honored myself and I faced myself and I didn't lose. I won because I did what most people never do in their life. That feeling, like I could feel that really in my throat as I say that, and in my solar plexus. That is a feeling that no one else will ever have. Well, the people who don't try. And that type of energy that sits in you when that happens, what that attracts to you and manifests, and what you will do after that, doesn't matter if exactly the right vision, and I'm not even saying your vision's not going to come into play. I'm giving you a reason why your excuse doesn't matter, is what I'm doing. To where you can't be like, oh, well, it's not going to work. Oh, will this happen? Blah, blah. It doesn't matter. It's not a proper way of thinking. Because other amazing stuff will happen anyways. And you will be at home in you. You will be clear. You will be healed. You will be vibing high, which means you are going to naturally start manifesting all your other things into your life and other dreams. You get my point. I'm not going to continue on about that. In your likely future, you have the Seven of Swords, seek the truth, and you have the Four of Pentacles, open up. I feel this as more traditional. Again, I think it goes to your likely future. Your likely outcome is like your likely future. I think you're not going to see things properly and you're going to stay closed up. Seven of Swords, not seeing things properly, deceit mostly of yourself, could be of someone else that you're running away from. I don't know. Apply this to another person if it does. And then the Four of Pentacles, where they're just holding on and gripping on. You're going to be you have a very high likelihood of not seeing properly and holding on and gripping on to your reality that you currently have and what you're building right now. And honestly, even what you had in the past, like your ego is that good where it can act like where you're like, no, I see differently now. And I guess in a way you do. I'm not trying to be like condescending and saying that. So I guess in a way you do, but that's literally where spiritual ego gets born. Where you're like, I know better than you. I see better than you. But like you don't do anything with it. Like if anything, sometimes that makes you like more lost than them because you're now popped out of the matrix. They're still in, but at least they're flowing and cycling, where you're popped out of the matrix. And you're like, I'm above that. I can't go there. But then you're just stuck there because you couldn't drop into your heart to go forward, but you can't go back. So now you're just really fumbling. And you've got to create like this whole other face. Your ego has to create this whole other story to like make it okay that you're there, because that's a very uncomfortable place to be. It's ridden with fear and anxiety. So by the way, your ego's not going to do a good job of that. That face isn't going to last long. You're going to start to like, it's going to suck. It's going to suck very quickly. Just FYI. But your ego's already preparing. That's what this whole little talky thing is going on about. It's already preparing this whole little reason why you can't right now. Or you are. You get in there. And this might be to an extreme. Like this might be exactly your situation, or it might be to an extreme to prove my point. So just again, apply it as necessary. You might not even be that far ahead, or you might know that's your cycle, or you might be starting to go there. You might be feeling these thoughts already creeping in, and you're catching this just in time to be like, oh God, that's what could happen. Let me not do that. Whatever. Apply it to your situation. But yeah. So your oracle cards that are showing up for you are Make a Decision and Bountiful Harvest. It's telling you to make this decision like I was talking about. And Bountiful Harvest. I think it will really work out for you. Whether it's exactly in the way you planned or whether it's in a different way you planned. Like most people, when they start out with a plan, whether it's downloaded or it's just in their heart, it doesn't go exactly as planned. It either changes somewhat because as they evolve, it evolves, or as they upgrade, their downloads upgrade. Or it's something completely different because just as they got started on it, like who they were really came through and it just changed. Like that doesn't matter anyways. Either way, it'll be bountiful. It'll bring you to a higher ground You'll be able to accept love and be in your heart place again. And you'll be able to be childlike and spontaneous, which means now you'll be able to celebrate the differences in life and in you. Like I said, remember I was saying that earlier? When you heal like that and go in your heart space, you're able to see like, you know, you and other people in you and blah, blah, blah. And you're kind of not so judgmental or hateful about it, because even though it's different, it's one truth. If that makes sense. Like, you celebrate the differences in that because you see how it makes everything beautiful. It seems how it makes everything go round. It's how there's one truth, but you might put it out one way and the person puts it out the other way. They act it out in different ways. And you can see the love and the gratitude in that. You can see the compassion in that. And you're now in your childlike spirit again. So I think I'm going to keep it here. Do I want to pull one more card for you? I hope you guys really take this in on that, because I don't know. I hope I didn't just slam the crap out of you with information on this, but I hope you really receive it in the way I meant it. That I hope it really helps you, and I hope you fly. And more importantly, I hope you choose to fly and choose to commit to yourself. Yes, also to Source and to your guides, but most importantly to yourself, because that's where Source and your guides express through as well. Yourself. Like, that's why it says we're made in their image, in his image, God's image, whatever, right? It's to experience different things while we're here, to express that. Not to judge it, but to express it. Like, just go play and have fun and see what happens. No matter what happens, you're going to learn, you're going to grow, you're going to clear those energies, and you're going to be happier in the long run for it. No matter what happens. I mean, yes, there'll be trials, there'll be tribulations. That's in everything, right? Like, life's going to throw you those anyways. You can't always choose those, but you can choose it by what actions you can take. You could choose it by how you respond. You could choose it by who you have around you. You could choose those things. Let's do a shaman card and then call it at the end. Call it, just call it the end, whatever. But yeah, I hope this is inspiring. I hope it's as inspiring as I meant it to be. One card, please. The best card of guidance you have for Cancer for December 2020 and January 2021. One card, please. For Cancer. So you have the Blade, number 6, which is interesting because you have here where you are, I think those are moon cycles. And here where you are, you also have almost exactly the same. I don't know if you'll be able to see them. See them here? It starts here like a really minute moon, then it gets fuller, 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 less, less, less. I don't know about moon or cycles. So this, I think, is about like actually doing it, making a decision too. The Blade. You are invited to draw your blade and use it. It is not auspicious to hesitate, to waste time in idle talk, or to hide from the inevitable. Heaven and earth are aligned to support you in claiming your power, so take decisive action. What? That's crazy. Overcome your fear of hurting others, unsheath the blade, and use it wisely. The blade represents the sharpness of mind, body, and spirit. Pointing upward, it summons the power of heaven. When aimed down to the ground, it anchors the power of the heavens on earth. The blade can be a healing tool or a weapon. Yeah, like this whole situation. It can be good for you or bad for you, depending on what you do with it. Wield it wisely, and it will transmit power, bestow initiations, cut energetic cords from the past, heal you, or sever toxic relationships. Use it with anger, and it will slash, stab, and kill. Let me reread the important part here. You are invited to draw your blade and use it. It is not auspicious to hesitate, to waste time in idle talk, or to hide from the inevitable. Heaven and earth are aligned to support you in claiming your power, so take decisive action. Overcome your fear of hurting others, unsheath the blade, and use it wisely. So some people, it's not about like hurting others. Some it might be just by being you. Something about being you might hurt someone. Either way, I think it could be about hurting you. And maybe it is hurting others. Maybe they won't agree with your path. Maybe going on your path will hurt other people. Maybe it's hard for you to stand in your truth. Either way, it doesn't matter. Take decisive action. You are supported here. I'm just going to stop because everything else I'm going to say is already in the video. So I love you guys. Please like, share, comment, subscribe, hit the bell. Please make sure you're subscribed. Please comment. It takes 2 seconds. It's a nice way to give back. Help spread the videos, or someone else might need to hear this. Please share it and like it as well. Comment. I don't know if I said that. The donation information, in case this helped you or to give back, information, description box below. Service information, description box below. If you're interested in the shamanic services, light language, or the crystalline consciousness technique that I talked about in the beginning of the video, please email me about that information. Okay? I love you guys, and I'll be seeing and talking to you soon. Bye.